Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. It's Monday, that means it's Movie Monday, and today we're finally talking about The Avengers. That's right everybody, The Avengers. 2012's The Avengers. Marvel had been building up to this movie, and it came, and it was awesome. It was absolutely brilliant. I love The Avengers. This is the best movie, in my opinion, of Marvel Phase 1. Everything in Phase 1 built up to this. They did not let me down. Written, directed, Joss Whedon. I was a huge Joss Whedon fan because Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Firefly even. Great stuff. Love the talent in Joss Whedon as writing and directing. I love this movie so much. You get all these different characters and they blend together so well. Everybody seemed to have enough time, even characters like Hawkeye and Black Widow. The Avengers assembled, and it was awesome, and I loved it. I think this movie still holds up today. It's near perfect. I love this movie. Jelani, what do you think about this movie?
Yeah, everything you said. We're done.
Okay.
Man, The Avengers, like, when I first saw it, my mind was blown. How do you make these characters come together? And how do you make them come together and gel as well as they did on screen? And they did. You got your Hulk story, you got your Cap story, you got your Iron Man story. You've got everyone together. And you put them in each spot. And of course, I go back to Hulk. Hulk is my favorite character in the movie, with my favorite line in the movie. You know, I'm always angry.
Yeah. That's my secret, Cap.
That's my secret. I'm always angry. And it feels so good to have all of them on screen and how it looks, how Loki is. He's kind of a mustache-twirling villain, but he's still the best villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So you get, like, everything. You're all the bang for your buck. I watched this movie 4 times. I paid for it 4 times to watch it in the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that. It was that good, and it held up that well, and it still holds up to this day. The CG's great, the story is great, the people are great. 14 thumbs up. I love this movie.
A brilliant cast in this movie really is a highlight, and just the balance of action, story, characterization, taking all these characters who have been built up in these movies, these solo movies, and having it all fit into one movie, and even adding new characters in like Maria Hill and Hawkeye, actually having Hawkeye in the movie. You got Stellan Skarsgård coming back. You got Loki as the villain. You got Nick Fury. You got Coulson. You got all his shield. You got the Chitauri, this giant alien invasion, and it all works so well. Of course, The Avengers was first conceived and concepted by Stan Lee. By Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in Avengers number 1, 1963. A big deal when it first came out. They needed some space to fill in at the publisher. They had some printing time. They needed to put a book in because Daredevil was running late. So Stan and Jack were like, well, let's just take these characters and throw all of them in one book. Loki was the villain. Hulk was in there. Also Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the rest is history. Avengers history. Brooks, what'd you think about The Avengers?
I love this movie, and it did live up to the hype. You know, how you build up hype for a movie for yourself.
We were so hyped.
And so often you're disappointed, even if it's just a little bit. Like, there was no disappointment for me watching this movie. I'm like, they knocked it out of the park.
They got a great overall story just in general for the Avengers.
Yeah.
The building of the team, everything that's going on with the invasion and Loki's plot and everything, and then the revelation of Thanos at the end of the movie and that he's really the one kind of almost behind it all. Really great stuff here. Great balance. Great, brilliant performances. Of course, we've already talked about a lot of these actors in these roles because in the previous movie Mondays, but let's talk about them again because I think each character here has their own arc. Let's start, first of all, with Nick Fury. I love it. Starts off, we're back with the Cosmic Cube. We got Skarsgård there. Hawkeye's there. They're trying to pull the energy out of this cube. because they want to make their own weapons in response to what happened in Thor. So they're trying to do exactly what Hydra did.
It's misbehaving.
Yes, and it's misbehaving.
Yeah.
And great stuff going on there. The portal opens up. Loki steps out. That opening scene when Loki just completely takes out that S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters right there was so awesome. Nick Fury is so awesome. He's in that helicopter. They blow up. The helicopter crashes. He jumps out, just firing guns.
Starts shooting.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so clean.
Great stuff. Great way to start this movie off with that scene, right, Brooks? What'd you think about it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it was kind of a slow build, I guess, but it wasn't slow. You know, it was a lot of the characters that we hadn't seen too much of yet. Like, you know, Fury, he was kind of he'd pop into Iron Man 2, you know, he'd be in a post-credit sequence here and there. But then you really get to see him in action for a little bit, you know, see what he's actually doing, what Nick Fury is actually about.
And that was the brilliance in Phase 1, especially of those post-credit scenes, was that we didn't have to introduce Nick Fury. He's already been introduced. We don't have to introduce S.H.I.E.L.D. It's already been introduced. We don't have to introduce the idea that Stellan Skarsgård's character, who I can't remember the character's name ever.
Dr. Selvig?
Yeah.
Selvig.
We don't have to explain why he's there, why they have the cube, or anything like that.
Not
Or
me.
even why Loki shows up. You don't have to explain that. It's already there. You get to just hit the ground running. This is an origin story for the team, but it doesn't feel like an origin story. And I feel like everybody had equal time to shine in this movie. Big story, though. Ed Norton is not in this movie.
Yep.
You got Mark Ruffalo now as the Hulk / Bruce Banner. What do you think about Ruffalo in this movie and the Hulk in general in this movie? Let's talk about the Hulk. What is his arc, his look? What do you think?
He's my favorite character in the movie.
Okay, wow.
Like, just straight up, Mark Ruffalo is hiding, basically, at the beginning of this film. He doesn't want to be the Hulk. And basically, it goes off of his Ed Norton role, where he's trying to calm down and just be a normal person to do normal things, but he's called, and they find him. Black Widow finds him, and he's trying to help this girl, and come to find out she's a S.H.I.E.L.D. plant for Black Widow to come in and basically recruit him, and she's scared. And it's in that scene, she pretends like she's cool. She pretends like
you can see
Black Widow is never fazed by anything.
Yeah.
Like anything except for when she sees the Hulk.
Yeah.
And they build it up, and later on it plays into a part where he becomes the Hulk and is angry. I mean, he's straight drop angry, and Black Widow's trapped in the helicarrier. And it feels, you get that tension. And I've always wanted Hulk to be in these movies, because Hulk is one of my favorite characters in general. And he needs to be that angry Hulk, and I wanted to see that Hulk being portrayed on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Ed Norton did a decent job with it when he had the Incredible Hulk involved. Ang Lee blew it. Trying to make a dramatic crybaby Hulk. This Hulk was perfect. He was angry. He was childlike. He was petty.
Yeah.
He was perfect. And I like how he was the instrument for a lot of things. So I enjoyed Hulk in this film, and I enjoyed Mark Ruffalo's portrayal of him.
One of my favorite parts of Ruffalo's portrayal is how skittish and nervous he is about everything around. You know, like Black Widow mentions
He's very paranoid.
Yeah.
Like he's afraid of being used.
He's afraid of being bumped into. Like when people are like walking around him when he first gets to the helicarrier, which was badass, and we'll get to that scene in a minute. But like soldiers
the little bet that Nick Fury made
yeah.
with Cap.
Yeah, and he just gives them the money. So like all these soldiers are running around like tying the planes together and stuff, and he's just like, "Whoa, don't bump!" And Black Widow mentions
much worse.
Black Widow mentions it's been Black Widow mentions the fact that it's been over a year since his last incident, and so they hunt him down because they need his expertise. Mostly, obviously, Fury wants him for the Hulk,
right?
But they also need his scientific expertise
to find the stone
as well. To find the stone, to find
Tesseract.
Loki and the Tesseract. Loki comes after the Tesseract, which we know is the space gem. He has that staff that's given to him,
which is also an Infinity
You have
Stone.
to pay attention in the very beginning because that's when the alien's talking. He's talking to Thanos. He says, "Our agent, our ally. We've given him what he needs. He has the Mind Stone." Which eventually he's going to pop out of that blue thing. Now they're hiding the stones. You notice that still. Because it looks blue.
Yep.
It looks blue just like the space gem, which is not how it is in the comics, but whatever. So, So you got that going on. He's got the mind gem. He takes over Hawkeye. He takes over Dr.
Selvig. Dr. Selvig.
Dr. Selvig. Has his own minions. Big crazy car chase there. I think Ruffalo was great in this movie. I love Ed Norton in The Incredible Hulk, but Ruffalo has just done wonders with this role, really adding other layers to it.
Yeah, he did.
Which I really think is cool. And the ending of the Incredible Hulk movie, when he kind of like almost has it controlled, that's what I think is kind of what's happened.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens at the end. He
That's
controls that transformation at the very, very end when they need him to. That's really great stuff. What do you think about the Hulk in this movie, Brooks?
He was great. I really liked his relationship with the other characters, like Thor.
Yeah.
When he hulks out and Thor just starts hitting him, and like they get into that fight, and Thor's like, "Yeah, someone I can fight."
Yeah.
And Hulk's like, "Yeah, someone I can fight."
Yeah.
And and they even when they're teamed up, like they beat up all these aliens, and then Hulk just like randomly just punches him in the face.
Yes.
For no reason.
That's a great moment.
And then there's also the Banner Iron Man relationship that was really
Yeah, they're
interesting.
science bros.
Yeah, they're science bros, but then on top of that, he like starts really trying to actively try to change him.
You're tiptoeing, big man. You need to strut.
Yeah. Good stuff. Ruffalo does a great job.
Yeah.
How does he compare to Norton? Who's better?
I like Ruffalo a little better, but
Ed Norton has more of the look of Banner.
I'm gonna say
Yeah,
Norton. Yeah, Norton would have worked well in this Avengers movie. I think so. I think his Mark Ruffalo's good as
Banner?
Banner, but I think Ed Norton kind of carried it off a little bit better. I believe he would have been wonderful in this movie had he not been a jackass himself.
Or Marvel be a jackass.
Or Marvel be a
depending.
jackass. Whatever happened, there was jackassery involved.
Probably on both sides.
I don't like it, but we got Mark Ruffalo.
Jackassery.
Yeah. So we got Mark Ruffalo, and he's good. So I mean, hey, I take him.
Great comedic timing too.
Yeah.
Very funny.
Very funny.
I love the look of this Hulk. He's still muscular. He's still got some detail to him, but it's a more classic Frankenstein-y Jack Kirby Hulk, which I think works a whole lot better for film as opposed to what they did in the Incredible Hulk. What about the look?
I think the Hulk in Avengers looks more like Ruffalo than the Hulk in Incredible Hulk did look like Ed Norton.
True.
Yeah.
I think they kind of got more of his expression, more of his facial features.
Plus, it had been 4 years and more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Disney owned it by this time.
Yeah.
Disney owned this. So
Big deal. Love Hulk in this movie. We were already talking a little bit about Black Widow. What a great introduction for her in this movie when she's being her interrogation.
This idiot's giving me everything.
Yeah, everything.
I'm not giving you everything.
I
I love that look she gives him, like.
I love, you are. I love when Coulson calls and interrupts and like, we need you to come in. She's like, I'm working. And the dude's like, it's for her. And he's like, what? And he's like, put her on the phone because I got like this jet on the way there. We're going to level the whole damn compound. That's a great moment. That fight scene was great. She breaks the chair and all that stuff. Fantastic. Black Widow, who is okay in Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
I think shoehorned in. Really gets to like just do wonders in this movie. Scarlett Johansson does a great job. Like the little nuances of her fear when she's trying to get Banner.
She's so used to playing afraid to get what she wants that when she actually is afraid, it kind of throws her off.
Oh yeah, and she's so awesome in this movie, and she also winds up being kind of the heart of this movie, which I thought was very odd for the Black Widow to be the heart of the Avengers, but it works in the movie so well, so great, so
had
badass.
To get the red off her ledger.
During the alien invasion, right? Oh yeah, like all that stuff.
It
That's
looked like a party.
During the alien invasion, when she's like, we have to get up there, and he's like, well, you're gonna need a ride. She goes, boost me. He's like, you sure you want to do this? She's like, it's easy. She's like, jumps up to
does it.
Oh, it's so great, so awesome. When she plays Loki, the same way she the same way she plays that general or whatever she's talking to. And she completely plays Loki. She's like, oh, so that's your plan. He's like, what? And like, so great.
Like, that's her thing. She gets the villains to monologue to get information she needs out of them.
Yeah. It's great. What'd you think about her in this movie?
Oh, I loved her in this movie.
Yeah.
I love everybody in this movie.
Yeah.
You can keep going for another week and a half. I love her relationship with Hawkeye. I like how
and it's
they're
not
comrades.
romantic.
Not at all.
Exactly.
They're just comrades, and they've been fighting wars together all this time.
Hawkeye was sent to kill her, but he made another call.
She owes him.
Yeah.
Yep, and it plays out really well for her character. Like I said, the fear that she has, like you said before, there are a lot of different layers to everyone in this, especially Black Widow.
Yeah. What did you think about Black Widow?
I really liked Black Widow in this movie.
Yeah.
And how they used her. I think they used her like exactly how Black Widow should be used. Like she's that, and even later on in the movie, like Hawkeye's like, you're not a soldier, you're a spy, but she's a fighter too, and she works alongside like these guys with so much greater power than she has. She doesn't have power, she has skill. But she uses that skill in conjunction with like everybody else to the best effect. Absolutely.
Does a brilliant job, Johansson does in this movie. Let's talk about Hawkeye. Hawkeye had a little bit maybe shoehorned into Thor. Through that, like the first bit of this movie, he's just a minion for Loki because he's mind controlled by the staff, by the mind gem. And I remember at the time we were all like, well, they seem like they almost wasted Hawkeye because but when I rewatched it, like, he's fine. He's in that movie plenty. And he gets plenty of badassery, not jackassery, but badassery to do in that alien invasion stuff. He does amazing stuff. The trick arrows look awesome. I love his quiver.
They can't bank worth a damn.
Yeah. I love the quiver and how it like goes into the different heads. And, it's so great, so cool. They made it work. They made it work so. Hawkeye and Avengers is so much greater than Arrow and the Arrow show. Yeah. Absolutely. Yep. Love him. Yep. I believe in his skill set. I believe that even though he's just an archer, he belongs with these guys. Yep. He also has an axe to grind because he doesn't like being controlled, and there's his emotional moment there.
If I put an arrow in Loki's eye, it'd make me feel better, I suppose.
Dude, what about when he shoots that arrow at Loki? He's like, I got this. And Hiddleston's dumbass look when he's just like, I caught your arrow, and it blows up on him. Oh man, it's so great, and he's got one arrow left, and thank God it's the grappling arrow, and he jumps off the building. That's his big money shot. So great stuff. What do you think about Hawkeye in this movie?
I thought Hawkeye was really great. He gave off the that grizzled old veteran agent type vibe. There's nothing he hasn't seen, but he hasn't seen anything like what happens in this movie. Yeah. And he's also like Black Widow. He's more it's his skill that wins him through rather than raw power. Because he's just a regular dude who happens to be really good with a bow and arrow.
He makes some crazy shots, man.
He's a marksman, but he doesn't have the power of these other guys. But it's like he works with them. He does what he can, where he can. Yeah. And he is a big help.
He's the eye in the sky. That's part of Cap's plan during the invasion. They send him up there. He's like, you let us know what's going on. You keep us informed. And that's what he does. He
purchases them.
Does a great job. You love Hawkeye in this movie.
Love Hawkeye in this movie.
You love everybody in this movie.
I love everyone in this movie.
Why Hawkeye in particular?
Hawkeye's great. Well, we've mentioned everything else. You don't know things about him until later, which is good. A lot of people later in other reviews have said that he's the weakest person in this movie, and I seriously doubt that. Mm-hmm. I doubt it seriously because he needed to be there. He's just kind of he kind of needed to be there. The scene between him and Black Widow, where he's just come out of it. Right, they just had this fight, and she just cracked his skull. And the fact that they have this interplay with each other. That I like that you kind of needed that levity in this movie. You needed all shades in this movie, and it was a team that didn't work together. And of course, he's not helping because he's possessed through most of it. But it's a good character turn for him. Yeah, and I just loved Hawkeye. I love Hawkeye.
When they cast Jeremy Renner in this movie. I had just recently seen him in The Hurt Locker, and I just love that movie, and I thought, this dude will be great. Like you said, grizzled, been there, done that. Great stuff. Absolutely great stuff. Now let's get to the big guns, right? Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. returning as Tony Stark. He also got an appearance by Gwyneth Paltrow, so that's exciting and cool. And the Coulson thing, and they're building up because Coulson dies in this movie, but obviously he comes back in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, which is
what they don't recognize in the movies.
Which they don't, they don't at all, do they? So I like the Tony Stark, and you know, the last we saw him was in Iron Man 2. Him and Pepper got together, so you see a little bit of that, how their dynamics is working out and how it's focusing up. And they go to Tony because they're like, we need a smart guy to take a look at all this stuff. And Tony Stark has the coolest computers, by the way. Right? We all know.
How does Fury do? He turns his head. That sounds like a lot of work.
Robert Downey Jr. is just great as Tony Stark in all of these movies. He's one of the highlights of the MCU.
Yeah.
Does a brilliant job in this movie. Cocky, arrogant. He's been doing this in public longer than some of the other guys have. Makes great jokes. The capsicle thing.
Yep.
Calls Loki Rock of Ages. The Shakespeare.
The Galaga.
Yeah, the Galaga bit.
He got mean swing Point Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shakespeare in the Park thing that we talked about a couple weeks ago. It's like, does thine mother know that thou is wearing the whatever.
Yeah.
Never
So
say it
good.
right.
Never get that line.
Never says it
Never.
right.
Who cares? It's a hard line. It's Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Shakespeare wrote that line. Anyway, Robert Downey Jr. is great in this movie. Iron Man's great in this movie. He's really high powered, and in the comic books, Iron Man is as powerful as he's up there with Thor and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's great that scene when they first start fighting,
Oh.
and Thor just
Oh,
shows
thrill.
up. You know, they capture Loki. Thor just shows up, and they go after him. That fight, and it's and when his armor absorbs all the lightning, and he's just like power
Thanks.
levels at 400%.
Huh, how about
Well,
that?
how about that? Great stuff. I feel like this character stands up there with Thor, and it works, and he pulls it off. He's funny. His arc in the movie, where he doesn't like working with people, finds it very difficult to do because he's kind of cocky, arrogant SOB, and he has to learn to give up. He's not the leader. He's got a role to play in the Avengers, and it's not the most important one, but it is an important role. What do you think about Tony Stark and Iron Man in this movie?
He does so much in this film. Yeah, he's funny. He's charismatic. He gets the job done when he needs it done, but they don't do it well at first. And I like you said before, I like when all three, when Thor, Cap, and Iron Man are together in that forest.
That
forest. Oh my God.
Just when they're standing there, all three of them, after they finally fight, and Cap's like, are we done here? And then they pull off, and it's all three of them. And also the part, when Loki attacks, and Cap's there to stop him, and Iron Man shows up, and he's blaring ACDC, ACDC over all. Yeah. And he shows up, and he's like, Mr. Stark, Captain. That's a great little bit right there, too.
So Tony Stark is amazing in this film. His sacrifice.
Yes.
The fact that he's a selfish, just into himself kind of guy, and he does this selfless act to take that bomb into space. And he doesn't know he's coming back.
No, he
has
doesn't.
no idea. He just knows he has to do this. And he knows he might die doing it. And it sends really good messages, which, by the way, they do not play up the rest of the way. I mean, he grows as a character later on, but it feels like from that to Iron Man 3, he doesn't learn. Well, he learns, but he doesn't learn what it. I know we're getting into that later, but I don't think he's got that. He learns from that mistake.
One of my favorite things about Iron Man 3 is that what happens at the end of Avengers affects him.
That PTSD.
And that's into Iron Man 3. Like, now he knows there are other worlds. He's the one that goes through that portal.
Yeah.
He sees it. He's like, oh my goodness, there's so much more. And, it blows him, and it makes him realize how small he actually is in this universe. And from that moment on, he is trying to do everything he can. His life gets refocused. Away from just being this showboat, action star who's trying to bring world peace, he is now trying to fund the Avengers. He's got people that he believes in that can do this better than he can. And I just really feel like I really think he does learn a lot in this movie. What do you think about Iron Man in this movie?
Well, I like the, you say how Iron Man has the selfish streak, and it clashes with Cap because they're completely opposite. Cap's the selfless one, and Stark is he's the showboater. He's all about finding alternate solutions. How to best do things, and Cap's kind of you always have a way out, don't you? And there isn't always a way out. Sometimes you have to make the sacrifice, and that's what he learns in the end. Is Cap was right. If when it comes down to it, sometimes you can't just cut the wire.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to lay down and let the other man go over you. And the relationship between Cap and Iron Man was really interesting. It was very They don't like each other very much.
Yeah, not at first. A lot of the Avengers don't like each other
don't.
at very first, and of course Loki's mind staff has a lot to do with that throughout the movie. He wants to get
Playing
captured.
against each other.
He wants them all to he's playing them against each other. He wants them to get crazy. He wants the Hulk to get upset and break out of that tank and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
the helicarrier was just such a great.
Oh, that whole scene.
It just
all of it.
It worked.
All the things.
It worked so well.
All
so
the
well.
things.
And then Cap and Iron Man, I love that. Put on the suit.
Yeah.
Come on, put on the suit. And they're like fighting, and they're like, I love that dynamic between them. They don't like each other. And of course not.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers, this dude from the 40s, would not.
At all.
And I love how.
How he said, I don't know what my dad saw in that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that Tony, the fact that Steve is from the 40s, and he's this good old boy from the 40s, and he's this man out of time, and it's all in there, when they talk about, he's like a Stephen Hawking, he's like a really smart person.
But he got the Flying Monkeys reference.
Yes, he's like, I got that.
That's the funny
That was a
one.
great
I
one.
understood that reference.
And I love the bit when Tony's like, when the helicarrier gets attacked,
Yeah.
because Hawkeye just...
Shoots that super
Oh
arrow.
my goodness, so awesome. But they have to work together, and I love that bit. And he's like, open up the control panel, tell me what you see. He's like, it seems to be running on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong. And that's when they start learning how to work together.
Yeah.
And then during the alien invasion, Tony says, your call, Cap, what do we do? Great stuff. Captain America's great in this movie. Chris Evans nailed it in the first Avenger. It's even more so in this movie because now you get Cap in the modern day. So you got all the crazy fun stuff about how he doesn't get the references and all that stuff. But he's there, and he's not the leader yet. Nobody really respects this guy. They're like, Tony calls him like old man and stuff like that. But he comes into his own in this movie and becomes the leader of the Avengers. And during that alien invasion, he knows the right moves for everybody to do, the right calls. I love that moment when he tells the police, he's like, we need a perimeter.
Yeah,
He
Why
was
yeah,
like,
listen to you? And then he just beats the shit out of these aliens. And they're like, okay,
All right.
Yeah, we gotta do this. Yeah.
I love it. I think he really carries the leadership role so well. What do you think about Cap in this movie? You've already talked a little bit on it, but what do you think?
Well, Cap was really good. He is the ultimate leader for the Avengers for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
He's the strategic guy.
Yeah.
He's the soldier. He knows what he needs to do to get the fight done or to attend victory with the least amount of risk.
Yeah.
Right.
And he always keeps the property damage and danger to civilians. He always keeps that foremost in his mind. So the fight comes after we make sure the battlefield
okay.
is safe enough for us to fight. And he does that in this movie. He's looking out for the civilians. First thing we gotta do is we gotta make sure everybody's safe. So we don't have anybody getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So we can fight because this is a big thing that we have to fight, and we have to make sure we don't have to hold back.
Yeah.
Because if we have to hold back, if we have to worry about people getting hurt, we're gonna lose.
Absolutely. What about Cap in this movie?
I love Cap, man. Cap is one of my favorite characters because, especially that scene with him and Loki when he first appears. And what was that line?
There's only one God, man. And
I'm
sure he
pretty
doesn't
sure-
look like that.
Yeah. Well, not that part, but yes, that was a great scene too. Just when he attacks Loki and he says, the stand up. He said a lot of people asked. One guy asked him to kneel.
Last time I was in Germany and a man was standing above everybody else. We had problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love. He's just a stand up guy, and he does his stand up thing, and it works well in this movie because he is the leader of the Avengers. It's not clear yet what his role would be, but he takes it. He takes it well.
Yeah, he goes from feeling like he doesn't belong to feeling like he totally belongs. They need him there because they do.
Because he's Cap.
Let's talk about Thor and Loki. Thor is great. I love, the Bifrost gets destroyed at the end of the Thor movie. So I love that Loki mentions briefly, what kind of dark magic did the old man have to do to get you here. He doesn't go see Jane, and that's kind of talked about in the Dark World, and that's kind of cool too. He's there because they know Loki has the Tesseract, and they want to get it back. And when he shows up, he just shows up, snatches his ass away.
He has the best entrance of any character in this movie, where he just lands on top of the jet and everybody looks up.
What's that?
What was that?
Yeah.
And Loki's his
As soon as it happens, Loki's like,
It's like, you scared of lightning? You're like, I don't really care for what comes after.
Yeah, and they bring that dynamic that they had in the Thor movie into this movie.
Yeah.
And it makes Thor a very important movie in the MCU. In fact, Avengers couldn't have happened without those 3 movies. It could have happened without Hulk, but it couldn't have happened without Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. Those films, absolutely. And Hulk does lead some stuff in, and like Ruffalo says, well, I'm kind of nervous because last time I was in Harlem, I kind of broke it.
Yeah.
But or last time I was in New York, I broke Harlem. But that was fun stuff. I love Thor and Loki in this movie. I love it when he shows up. That's a great entrance, like you were saying. God, I love it so much. What do you think? Mm-hmm. Thor, Loki?
Thor, Loki.
Loki's a great villain in this movie.
He is an excellent villain. He's still like, brother, but then he's still got a knife ready to stab him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he's just, he plays off Thor so well, and Thor's like, he's adopted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loki plays the Avengers so well. Man.
Yeah, he does. He really does. And you couldn't take an element out of this film. I take that back. You can't take an element out of this film for it not to work. You introduce so many characters and you throw in so many dynamics in, and you still have this brother and brother relationship that's fractured, and Thor is basically trying to be noble, and he wants the best from Loki, but Loki can't give him that because Loki's got another agenda altogether.
Yeah,
which really you don't really see. I don't know what he needs. I don't know if he wants to rule or if he wants to cause problems.
He's trying to get the Tesseract. They briefly mentioned this throughout in the beginning opening. He's trying to get the Tesseract to give eventually to Thanos, and the deal was that they gave him Earth, and Thanos gets the rest of the universe. That was kind of
pretty much the deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants to rule.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do. That's what he wanted to do in Asgard and Thor. That's what he wants to do on Earth. That's why he's like, Neil, you guys were meant to be ruled. He wants to rule them. And how dare you touch me? I am a god. What?
Yeah.
We got to talk about that bit because the Hulk swinging around.
Puny god.
Great moment. And led to a great moment in Ragnarok when he sees the Hulk show up and he's just like, I've got to go.
You didn't know? Wait, you were there on Scar all this time. I know we're not talking about Thor Ragnarok, but you were on Scar all this time, and you don't notice that the champion is freaking Hulk until this time? Oh, well.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't there. Anyway, but he's great in this movie, a great villain. You got his fall in Thor out of the way, so now he's just straight up villainous. I think his horns are bigger in this movie.
Yeah, they are.
Costume is great. Love it. You love Thor, Loki in this movie?
Oh, yeah.
Of course you do. That's your favorite hero. The Thor's you got.
Yeah, that's my boy.
That's your boy.
Mighty Thor.
You're my boy, Thor.
But yeah, I like, it's like Stark says, like Loki's a full tilt diva. Like, he has to be seen doing it. Like, it's not good enough for him to just have the world. It's like he has to be seen taking it. He has to be seen like taking power, and he has to be seen defeating them. And I think he gets a lot of that from Thor, actually, because Thor is a very blustery, braggart type character. But Thor's usually fighting for different reasons than Loki.
Yeah.
Loki's more selfish. He's more about what he wants. Thor's more about he likes the glory. He likes the spotlight. He likes people shouting his name. But Loki, he's different. He wants people to fear him and revere him.
Yes.
It's like he doesn't really care so much about, being respected or loved.
Yes.
But and the way that Thor just can't give up on him in this movie.
Right.
Yes.
He doesn't.
He's like, come home, brother, please, just come home. It's like, we want you home. It's like, give up this madness. But he can't do it because he believes he's gone too far. It's like it feels like he kind of has that doubt, like maybe I should just give this up and go home. But he's like, no, I can't. I've come too far.
There's a lot of layers to Loki, especially in the Avengers. Yeah. Great performances. These actors were good in their own movies. They worked so well together. Great camaraderie, great rapport, great dynamic and chemistry together. Great action, great sci-fi scenes. Joss Whedon just does a great job of taking all these elements and making one cohesive whole out of it. Some assembly required. I love this movie's so great, so fun. The end of the movie, the big alien invasion, the Chitauri, all that stuff, right? What'd you think about that? The big finale of the movie, the big hoo-ha, the alien invasion. They weren't Skrulls or anything like that. The Chitauri were completely created for this movie. Now, of course, they exist in the Marvel Universe. What'd you think about that?
Well, I mean, they were the comic book in the Ultimates.
They called them the Chitauri, did they?
Yeah,
but they were Skrulls. But did they call them the Chitauri? I thought they had a different name.
It's been a while since I've read Ultimate.
They were the Chitauri.
Yeah.
They were shape changers though.
Yeah.
They were Skrulls.
Yeah, they had Skrulls.
Okay.
Well, they
That's
had Nazi people that were those aliens, but they were the Chitauri.
Well, the Chitauri were not in the Marvel Universe proper
Not in the comic.
until recently.
Right.
And now they look just like, and they got the cool ship.
Yeah.
Like they work so hard to take that one ship down.
Yeah.
And then like two or three
Hulk
more.
just punches it.
Oh, that's great.
It's
What do you
so
think
awesome.
about that scene at the end?
Yeah, I love all of those scenes. I mean, they're kind of a cookie cutter villain though. You know, just all of a sudden these things show up, but it was necessary for this movie.
Yeah.
Because you just want Avengers to punch things.
Yeah.
And they do great. They're great punching bags.
Yeah.
Everything about
Especially when Hulk gets unleashed.
Hulk gets unleashed and he punches
Hulk,
that one shit.
Smash.
Hulk just smash.
I love that
It was
expression
awesome.
he gives Cap too, like, oh, you get me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how Cap deals with Hulk as an Avenger in the comic book.
Right.
He's just a cannonball that you have to aim. He's a cannon just to aim in the right
That
direction
thing,
and see.
hit it.
And then Hulk saves Iron Man when he's falling, you know, and it's great. Everybody works together. They all do their role. Cap's plan was great when they're all sitting there in the square. And they finally assemble in the square for the first time all together. That's great. You get that brilliant scene that's like one shot when Black Widow jumps up onto the ship and she's like flying, then it shows Hawkeye, and then it comes around and you see Iron Man, then Thor and Hulk, and just everything is working. The music.
Great theme. I love it.
Great music, man. And when you watch the Infinity War trailer, they use it, and it now gives you chills.
Yeah.
The
it
same
still
way
gives
that
me
the
chills.
John Williams score, the Danny Elfman scores from Superman and Batman do. It's recognizable. It's awesome. What do you think about the big epic finale of this film?
Oh, well, I mean, no complaints from me on that. It was great seeing, like, because, you know, you get the team together, you know what they can all do, and now you get to see what they can do together.
Yes.
Like, you get to see, okay, Cap's like, okay, Thor, I need you to do this. Like, Iron Man, I need you to do this. Hulk, you know, smash. And, you know, he has Natasha down there fighting with him. And he has, you know, Hawkeye up there being the eye in the sky, relaying the information they need.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their place, and Cap knows what that place is. And, you know, when they're working together, when they got their shit together, like, they're unbeatable. Like, all this whole army, it doesn't mean shit, because when the Avengers are, you know, when they got their A game going, like, there's not much of anything that can stop them.
Yeah.
That's why there's like at the end, you know, it's so interesting that alien's like you know, he's talking to Thanos like, to challenge them is to court death.
And Thanos just smiles. Of course, that being the post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene, or whatever you want to call it, the very, very last bit with the shawarma. It's kind of fun because I love that moment when when Iron Man finally, like, he's just laying there, they don't know if he's alive or not. They can't get him back. Hulk screams at him, like, "Oh, Jesus! I saw. Did we win? Let's just take tomorrow off. Let's just take."
I think it's kind of
kiss me.
payback for all the ribbing that Iron Man did to Banner.
Yeah.
in the movie.
I think overall we just really like this movie. We think you like this movie. What do you rank this movie? Out of a possible 5 you digs, Jelani, what do you rank The Avengers?
I can't give it 10. So we'll just do 5 you digs.
5 you digs. Perfect score. First perfect score. First perfect score. Murder.
5.
Perfect score from Jelani. Why perfect?
Man, it's the perfect film.
Yeah.
Like, it's the culmination of other films that came together, and you didn't need to watch the other films to get this movie. And the music's great. The cast is great. I can watch it now. We can watch it again.
Yeah.
You know, it has that feeling. It has that flavor. It makes me hopeful for the Marvel Universe, which has rarely disappointed me so far.
Nice.
So, yeah, 5, baby. 5. Keep doing it, Marvel. Keep doing it. Make mine.
What about you, Brooks? How many you digs are you going to give The Avengers?
I have to give it a 5 too.
5 you digs. Another perfect score.
I mean, this movie, like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, out of like all the movies I've seen, which there's a lot of movies I haven't seen, but out of all the movies I've seen, The Avengers is like one of those ones I can watch whenever. Like somebody's like, oh, like if someone's like, I want to watch, just a fun kind of action movie, I'm like, Avengers. That's it. It's the kind of movie you can watch with like your kids too, like, and it'd be interesting to see, what a kid thinks of a movie like that, because I know my cousin's daughter, she really likes Hulk and Iron Man, and I kind of, put that into her.
Yeah.
Like she used to come over and see my Iron Man figures and Hulk figures, and and she got into watching those movies, and she really enjoyed it. I think that's great, because it's the kind of movie that can transcend generations.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is like the equivalent of a Star Wars.
Yeah.
Something like that kind of experience. An Indiana Jones. Something that will last for generations, for families to share with their own kids, because the kid inside of me loves this movie. I give it 5 you digs as well. That's 3 perfect
Perfect 5.
Dude, I think the average of
We need
that
a graphic or
is 5.
Yeah.
We're working on it, man. We're working on it. One day. 5 you digs from all 3 of us. We love this movie. We think it's pretty much pitch perfect. Not the movie Pitch Perfect, but meaning, perfect movie. Almost. Love this movie so much. Because there are other 5-star movies, I think, to come, and other movies not so much. We'll talk about one next week, Iron Man 3. What are we going to rank it? What do you rank it? I don't know. I want to know what you rank Avengers, though. Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Like I said, be back here next Monday. We're going to be talking about Iron Man 3, the first film of Phase 2, MCU Electric Boogaloo. Anyway, I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. This is
Jelani Bullard.
This is
Brooks.
And we gave Avengers 5 you digs. How many do you give it? What do you think about it? What do you think about what we said or what we didn't say? Let us know in the comments down below. Don't forget about our podcast and the weekly comic book review. All that and more can be found at popculturephilosophers.com. Deuces. Peace out. Some assembly acquired. Avengers Assemble. He didn't say Avengers Assemble. That's the one problem with this movie, but it's still
Movie
A-okay.
ruined. 0 stars.
It's A-okay. You dig. Holler.